Hi, everyone. You are listening to The Tattooed Psychic, and I am The Tattooed Psychic. Thank you so much. So kind. So, today we are going to talk about, is there life after death? These effects are ridiculous, and I know that. But that being said, it's a topic I like to discuss because I'm a medium, but also I don't talk about it a lot on the podcast because Um, I did it for so many years that I kind of like to discuss the other elements of the universe and spirit. But here's my opinion on it and my experience about it and what I see as a medium and how I feel about what really happens when we die. Okay. We don't really die. See, I don't like that word. When we pass on, when we leave this shell. Um, I have to say that I'm a skeptic, and I have to base it all on energy. And I can't really tell you how it all works. All I know is I was born with this ability to really connect with an energy that people can't see. Um, Sometimes I can see it. Most of the time, it's a feeling. Most of the time, I see images in my head like a really quick movie. Um, and decipher what that is, and it transfers really quickly out into words as quickly as I can do it anyway. And so as a medium, what I see is an energy of somebody that once was alive in a physical form, and and that's how I see it, as an energy. As I can't tell you if they're living after death. I can't tell you what they're doing. And most of them describe amazing places, other dimensions. A lot of them describe a place called heaven, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's life after death. I couldn't tell you that for sure. All I can tell you is that in my belief system, from my experience, I have been taught that our soul, our life force, our energy life force lives in our body here. And when our body dies, it does exit the body because it's an energy, it's pure energy. And so energy just doesn't die like that. So it has to expand out and go somewhere else. And that's how I equivalate life after death, right? And to me, that's not the most impressive ability I have, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but to me, we all have the ability to communicate with those energies if we just take the time to learn how and do it properly and do it in a healthy way, and not be fooled by tricksters. That's why you have to really, when I take on a student and they want to learn how to do this, most of them don't make it because it's too much work. It's a complete process. It's learning a lot of things. That's what I've learned. That's how I learned, and I've been doing it since I was a little girl. And I've used spirits, energies passed on to help me get through this life, to give me advice, to tell me the important things about living. Like what is our purpose here? What are we doing here? What is our journey here meant to do? You know what I mean? And that's why I got into to spirit and all of that. I used to be a paranormal investigator as well, because I wanted to figure out why spirits were lingering on Earth. And I'm going to bring some paranormal investigators on very soon, actually. I just got an email out to Ross Allison, who's a Northwest paranormal investigator, very, very, very well known paranormal investigator. And he has a new documentary coming out, or they have a new documentary coming out. And I'm excited to share that with you. So we're going to definitely talk about paranormal investigations and why certain spirits stay on Earth and all of that. But right now we're talking about, is there life after death? And I don't have the answer for that. I just can tell you that energy continues on, and some of us can connect with that energy And I will tell you this, I've seen a lot of charlatans, mislead people about people passed on. I got an email from a lady who said her husband was saying that his mother was angry at her in the spirits and cursing her and hurting her life. And people believe that stuff, right? People believe that, and spirits don't do that. I'm telling you, good spirits do not come back and curse your life. They just it's not even, I don't even think, allowed. And so what I try to teach people about being a medium, or if you want to talk to spirits passed on, or if you want to know more about life after death, d- don't ever believe it's a negative experience. I know that Hollywood has done that, and oh, look at the bad spirits, and there are negative energies, and one day we will talk about that. This podcast is going to cover all these things, but right now, excuse me, I don't want people believing that they're cursed by their grandfather who passed away or whatever. It's you know But there are certain spirits that can linger. Spiritives even telling me that. Now, Faye, there are spirits who place negative on the earth, and we'll talk about that too. But as a whole, the majority of people passed on do not come back to hurt their daughter-in-laws or their in-laws in any way, shape, or form. They wouldn't even, like I said, they'd have to be pretty. Their soul would have to be pretty evil in the first place, I suppose. But anyway, that being said, a lot of people are misled about people passed on and ghosts and spirits and all of that. And hopefully through this podcast and experiences that you'll hear from the people I'm going to be interviewing, you'll see how harmless it is, really, and how useful gaining knowledge from those energies are. Or just when I did my live show and I was connecting people with loved ones passed on, it was just the amount of people that would come up to me afterwards and say, "Wow, I needed that closure. Thank you." It's just a matter of connecting someone passed on to bring closure to their life, to because maybe they couldn't say goodbye. Maybe the person died before they could say goodbye or have peace with them, and nobody really, that's why I always, you guys, when I ask spirits, I say, what is the number one message you would give people if you could tell people, the world something, and they say, don't die with regrets and spend time with people. If you read what Steve Jobs said, and you don't have to be a fan of his or anything, just read what he said about spending time with people before you die and how important it is. I think that you'll understand more how important it is, and I'm here to tell you how important it is. And I know that a lot of you know that. You had to learn the hard way because you lost people who suddenly, and you didn't get to say goodbye. And so sometimes when you meet a medium, why would somebody go to a medium? For that reason, to say goodbye, to make peace, so their soul can move on, so their heart can move on, if that makes sense. But just be careful of the charlatans. Like, there are a lot out there, and you will know, and you don't have to buy candles. Nobody's cursing you. There is no spells you have to do to have your father forgive you for something or whatever. None of that. That's all fake. It's all fake. Okay? There are dark spirits, and there are things you have to do to remove those dark spirits. But as a whole, that's very rare, and it's used too much to manipulate people. And that's why people don't want to talk to the loved ones passed on or the spirits that they might see because they're afraid of them. Don't be afraid. A lot of them have knowledge that we need actually right now on this planet. And we're going to talk about the spirits that get stuck here um, uh, with Ross Allison and other paranormal investigators as time goes on. But, life after death, all I can tell you is I have seen other dimensions, I have seen other energy levels, where people can go. And I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people, and it honestly sounds crazy to me. That's why I don't talk about it a lot, because it's so amazing to me that it's real. It blows my mind. And even though I've been doing this for so long and I've seen so many crazy things manifest just recently this week in front of my hands, manifestations, I still go, oh my God, this stuff is real. Like my predictions coming true, or other psychic predictions coming true, and people reading me that can actually read me and or pinpoint on. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And it is. It's when you discover spirit and you discover the fact that there's this energy that continues on, and how valuable life is, really. And that's what talking to, if you want to say it, talking to the dead, for lack of better terms, um, that's what it teaches us, how to live. That's what it's taught me, how to live, how to stay strong, how to use my own spirit to survive no matter what, to understand my life purpose, so I can use my gifts to help other people understand their life purpose. Because all of us have a life purpose. And you'll always hear that with spiritual people, right? You always will. You're always going to hear the same thing, because it's all true. It's just what messenger resonates with you. I don't resonate with some people. I'm too loud. I'm too tattooed. I'm too blunt. I swear, I'm kind of the punk rock spirit, healer. Um, and that's okay with me. Then find a healer that does, but don't give up on your spirit because of me, or because you don't resonate with my energy. That's okay, because a lot of people do resonate with my energy, and that's who I'm trying to reach, are the misfits, the old punk rockers who had addiction, the paranormal investigators, the tarot readers, the healers, the people who are really making something of their life, and exploring other realms and exploring possibility, because that's really what it comes down to in life, right? Possibility. Is there life after death? I don't know. To me, anything's possible. I know there's energy. I know I've talked to a lot of energy that is no longer in the physical form. And I know it's helped a lot of people. And I know many people who do that kind of work. Um, I know psychic detectives who work on police cases and are able to talk to the victims and get information. Um, but who knows what that is? Is an imprint of energy, and we're just master energy readers. I couldn't tell you that, but I can tell you that the energies I have spoken with and talked to have all told me that we have to help each other, and the purpose of life is to use your gifts to help to do just that. My friend Rosie recently, you can watch a podcast I did with her. I'm going to be having her on quite frequently. Um, she's a reader out in Cleellum, Washington. But she asked me, she said, Faye, if I gave you a blank check, what would you put on it? And I said, money wise, or anything I want? And she goes, anything you want. And I said, well, to me, it would be the ability to help as many people as I can. Whatever that looks like, however you want to write that out, that's what I want. And help them do what you say, because you have to be specific when you're with spirit, right? You have to be so specific. And it is to help them not feel so lonely on this earth. And I'm going to tell you why, because I have been so lonely on this earth that I would rather die than feel that loneliness again. And so that's when I reach to spirit and say, please guide me what to do. What do I do with this feeling? And sometimes I have literally reached out to Facebook, because my spirit guide or a loved one passed on will come through and say, Faye, you have to go and reach out. And I have. And people call me up. Are you okay? No, I need to cry. I'm sad. I'm fucked up. The world is killing me. Da 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 da. Whatever the case may be, right? And so I listen to those spirits quite often, because they guide me into the proper place where I need to be, if that makes sense. And they teach me to be a better person, and they can teach you to be a better person, to yourself first, so you can be a better person to other people. And that's why I use spirit, and that's how I teach people to use spirit. To be quiet enough to listen, to understand that I don't talk to, for lack of better terms, the dead or people passed on to impress you and say, look what I can do. It, who cares about that, really? About what I can do. It's more about, let's close this door so you can do this and have a better life. I just I'm just here to show you how powerful it is, that it's a possibility, right? And so you have to trust your guts a lot in this work, and you have to trust that there are spirits, good and bad, honestly, dark and light. But for the most part, spirit is love. And we have to remember that, and we have to bring that love to ourselves and each other, one another, to expand it, to allow it to be this energy, instead of this energy spirit saying that has been nothing but putting us down. How many of you in the past couple of years have just been so down on yourself that you even stopped reaching to spiritual guidance because it's been so messed up? If you notice, my camera keeps going blank, blurry, because I think, honestly, there's a spirit in here. My spirit guides are here. Hello. So it is. It's about that moment of, thank you, Spirit. Spirit saying that. Like it is. It's about that moment of, I'm not going to feel this way anymore. 2023 is this open gate for us. It's a 7 year. It's this, do some astrology. Go on YouTube and find yourself someone to do your astrology predictions and stuff, and whatnot, and listen to what you have to do, because spirit is guiding us on a daily basis. We just have to learn to listen, just like you have to learn to listen for the loved ones passed on that are trying to connect with you, maybe not in the way that you think. Spirit doesn't just show up like, people always look at me like the Mother Mary is just going to pop out of me and like these miracles are going to happen or whatever, because they see, they meet a medium and they're like, oh, you can talk to the dead, so these things happen. No, it's not like that. It's more of a feeling. It's an intuition. Like, you could be thinking to someone, and then their favorite flavor of ice cream is on a billboard or something, and it's just, you laugh to yourself, right? Because you're like, I was just thinking of you, and they're like, yeah, I'm here, and it might be something ridiculous like that. And or you could actually see them in a physical form, or a child in your family, or a child's friends, because children are really in tune with the other side. I've had many parents, like I had this years and years and years and years ago, when I was just beginning my career as a medium. I was working with this Italian family, and the brother had died, the father had died, the brother of the person I was working with had died, and his daughter kept seeing her dad all over the house and saying, he's here, there's daddy. It was just, and they'd be like, where? And she'd be like, right there. Like, how come you guys don't see him? And it's, children are very in tune to that. So, they do connect. The other side does try to come through. They do. It's just up to you, and how much you want to believe, and how much you're going to be in tune with that energy. Remember, it's all energy. So it's like this. If you're going against an energy, it doesn't have a way to get in. It doesn't have a way to show you its power, if that makes sense. So you have to understand, look at it just as energy. They left this earth and they're an energy. So welcome their energy into your space in kindness and love, to say goodbye, to give you guidance once in a while, but you can't hold on to them. Right? That's very dangerous. And so it's just an energy. And I can't tell you that they leave this earth and then they're most of them aren't even in the same body. When I see them, they appear as they would to the person that's in front of me, my client, but by the time they get to where they are, they're not even in this anymore. It's energy. Okay, I hope all that makes sense. And so, Faye, how do you connect with them? How do I connect with them? Well, I just told you, a lot of it's believing, a lot of it's shutting out your own thoughts, a lot of it when I do spirit work, like when I did my live show, people would be like, "Faye, how do you do that? How do you get out there?" Because I they would joke that I was a comedian. You're gonna hear me say that a lot because I really like to tell jokes and make people laugh while I'm trying to heal them at the same time because it can get really deep, right? It can get deep really fast, and especially if we're dealing with an audience member whose loved one died tragically, or they're looking for answers from that tragic death, or they can't move on because their loved one just dropped dead. This kind of thing, unexpected death, that type of thing. You want to keep the audience upbeat too. You don't want to bring it all down because it can get down and sad really quick, honestly. So I would always try to keep it uphearted and light, but and I made it look really easy, right? But you have to understand at that moment when I'm in front of the live audience, I was working with probably four different elements at one time, but just making it look super easy. And the thing is that when we use these energies to help us and it helps other people, it does give, how do I word it, spirit? It allows spirit to work through us even more. And not a lot of people like that. That's why, we have these shadow figures and we have the trickster energy, which I'll talk about on another podcast. And we have these energies, and some of them are ghosts that stay here and mess with people, and we'll talk about that with Ross Allison about maybe there's some, um, ill intended spirits out there. I've seen them, and I'll talk about that on a paranormal show. But it is about um, understanding it's not all bad, it's not all dark, it's a lot of light. A lot of good comes out of connecting and making that connection. I hope all that made sense. So, tonight, when you go to bed, just kind of close your eyes and whoever you want to connect with, just kind of see yourself like hanging out by a river and a waterfall, having a picnic, or whatever your favorite spot was to go with them, or a family dinner table, or whatever your environment you want it to be. I usually go outside and hang by a waterfall and create this beautiful picnic you know, with love, and you'd be surprised what can happen by creating that energy because then that gets a message to them saying, "Oh, I can come through now without them being so hurt, without them being blocked or whatever." I hope that makes sense because energy can't get through if you're blocking it. So I'm running out of time here, and I just wanted to make sure it all made sense. So tonight, when you go to bed, um, what I want you to do is be able to um, visualize the person you want to connect with on the other side, and I call it the other side, on the other dimensions, on the other realms, and be able to see them, visualize them, even if it hurts a little bit. You know, um, I lost somebody named Andy Wood. I didn't lose him. The whole world did, honestly. He passed away years ago. And he's one of the one few. I still cry so hard when I feel his presence and his energy because, I mean, sometimes it is overwhelming. I'm getting teary eyed just feeling him right now. But when you remember their energy, it can be overwhelming. I remember his energy always being light and love, and I miss that, because not so many people shined like he did. Even though internally he might have been hurting like we all do, he still shined his light, and that's one thing that always resonated with me, that always stuck with me about him. You know what I mean? At least to me. When he was around me, he was always that way. And seeing him perform, I mean, come on. There was no one like him, and I miss him, you know? And so sometimes, yeah, even as a medium, it gets painful because you want that person in the physical, of course. And I think that's why so many Americans forget about the dead so quickly. So quickly. I go to cemeteries all the time, and there's rarely anybody there, if anybody at all. And they very Day of the Dead. There's nobody at the American cemeteries, and there's no honor for them. There's no respect, and your ancestors. Then everybody wants to talk to them. It's like, let's honor them. Let's respect them. Let's know that they're there. They're just not physical. Their energy is still accessible, but you have to allow it to access to you. I hope that makes sense. I love you all. Keep listening to the podcast. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep moving, and we're going to keep talking about things like life after death, spirits, how to handle it, how to handle grief. I've got Ross Allison coming. He's a paranormal investigator, and we're going to talk to him about his new documentary and all his experiences. And I have Michelle Augusto, who is a New Orleans artist from Louisiana originally, born and raised Louisiana girl, and she's also very spiritual, um, has great genetics, and I look at someone's DNA and genetics a lot. Isn't that weird? I know that's weird, but to me, I'm always fascinated by that. But you have to look at that sometimes, I think, as a healer to see where they're coming from. So that being said, we have a lot of exciting guests coming out, and yeah, I have other emails out to other guests, but I'm waiting to hear back, so I'll announce them when they respond. But thank you for listening to The Tattooed Psychic. I hope this helped a little bit. I hope it released your fear of life after death. Like I said, I don't have the answer 100%, but I do know there's something going on. And I love you all. If you want a reading with me, please reach out to readingswithfaye at gmail. I also go on Facebook Live a lot and just pop out readings at random, just fun stuff. I don't usually do my medium work on Facebook Live, but we have fun doing other types of reading, life readings and stuff. So enjoy your day. Enjoy life. Remember, be the love you want to see in the world. Don't die with regrets. Get out there and spend time with people you love. People who you might even want to get to know because they might be interesting, right? Go out to eat. People need to do that more, right? Connect, talk, conversation. Time is your most valuable gift. It really is. Even if you don't believe in time, moments are your most valuable gift. I hope that makes sense. I love you all. Peace.